Good afternoon, my name is John Van Geest, and we're going to do a little safety video today on how to properly back into a parking spot. So we're going to talk through it. We have someone driving a truck and trailer that'll be putting it in. We're going to do a couple different ways. One of how to line up your truck to an open space and back in. And the second way we'll do it is how to back in on the driver's side doing a bit of an L-turn where you can't line up square to the dock. We're going to walk through the different procedures that you need to follow to do it safely, and to make sure that you look after yourself, look after your equipment, and not hit anything. So with that, we'll start our backup video. So we have Charlie getting ready. He's coming into, if you just visualize this, he's coming into a yard, and he's got to look for his parking space. So he's got his four ways on. Charlie's already made sure that his mirrors are clean, and that both mirrors, especially the passenger side mirror, is properly aligned so you can see what his trailer's doing. So he's pulling up to the parking spot that he's going to go into. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to stop his truck and trailer, put on the brakes, get out of the truck and trailer, and come over to the spot that he's going into. The reason why he's doing that is to make sure the spot he's going into is sized right for the trailer that he's backing in. He's also making sure there's nothing laying on the ground, there's no obstruction or something sticking out from the trailers that he's going to park between. So having done that, he's back in the truck. He's going to turn to the right and pull up so he lines himself up squarely to the trailer slot that he wants to back into. So when you're at a customer's yard, you want to make sure that the traffic that's coming across is not going to be in your way. That's why you have the four ways on your truck and trailer, so that people know that you're about ready to back up. And Charlie's going to pull straight. Once he's pulled straight, he's also going to do another visual check through those windows to make sure that there's no traffic coming across. Sometimes when you're parking into a customer's yard, if you're going to a Home Depot, for example, you could have shunt trucks driving, you could have other vehicles coming in, driving around, that may not see that you're backing up. So your four ways on, and always be vigilant of people trying to cut in behind you while you're backing in. Everybody's in a hurry, but you're not. So the backup alarm is working on the truck. If the truck you're driving does not have an operating backup alarm, get that fixed. It's important to do that. So Charlie stopped again. He's going to get out of the truck. And you may find situations where people are honking their horn at you to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You don't. You got to follow the proper procedure. So he's walked to the back of his trailer. He's just going to check his parking spot, make sure there's nothing in the way or nothing sticking out, and that he can fit. In the wintertime, sometimes you might have snow build up or by the front of the truck or where you're backing the truck in. If you don't think you can do it safely, then don't do it. So again, Charlie's just walking around to make sure his equipment is proper, and then he'll get back in the truck and he'll finish off backing into this parking spot that he selected. Again, it's important to make sure your mirrors are clean and your windows are clean, especially in the wintertime. You can have a lot of salt buildup on your windows or mirrors. If you can't see clearly, you're going to increase the risk of probably hitting into something or backing into something. So again, Charlie's back in, he's taking his time, he's not racing back into the parking spot. He's got to pull forward to align himself properly. Sometimes when you're backing in, if you are not sure that you maintain a consistent gap between the trailers that you're parking between, stop, pull ahead, line it up. Again, don't be in a rush. When you're in a rush is when you have accidents happen or mistakes occur. So Charlie's got it set up now that he's going to be able to back into his parking spot. Again, taking his time, going slow, backing in. Don't let other people rush you through this process. When you're backing in, you're going into a dock, a concrete wall with a dock door. In the last few feet, you want to stop and make sure you're just creeping in the last few feet as you back into your parking spot. You don't want to slam into the dock. That can cause damage to the back of the chassis, can cause damage to your fifth wheel pin or your fifth wheel plate. Stop. So what we're doing now is we're going to do what's commonly called an L turn. So Charlie's going to pull up to the same parking spot that he was in earlier. We'll just show you how to properly set up to make that parking move. So as you come up to the spot that you're going to use, just do a quick visual to make sure that you feel like you can get in to that parking spot successfully. Again, four-way signals are on. And Charlie's going to get out of the truck and walk to the spot that he's going to back into to make sure it's clear. There's no debris, that the dock, and if you're backing into a warehouse or a loading area where there's a dock, to make sure the dock lock is set properly, that the dock pads are set properly, and that he can safely make that move. So he's just walking up, checking the trailer to make sure the four-ways are on, the width of the trailer, which is pretty obvious, but just making sure that it'll fit into that slot. A lot of times when you do an L park move, it'll take more than one attempt. You'll see where he'll back into the spot, but he'll get maybe halfway through that turn, and then he'll pull up ahead to straighten up a bit and then go back in. Because you can't see the one side, where normally when you drive up, you just do a straight back in, you can see both sides of the trailer. When you're doing an L, you're only able to see the driver's side. Whenever possible, when you pull into a yard, you do not want to back in on the blind side. The blind side being if Charlie was pointed in the other direction here, where he wouldn't have visibility of the back end of his trailer because of executing the turn. You want to make sure the front of your truck doesn't collide or bump into any other trailers that might be parked. Because your attention is focused on backing up, some drivers lose sight or awareness of what the front of the truck is doing. We've had a number of instances where the truck incurs hood damage because you weren't paying attention to that. So Charlie's back into the spot. Pretty soon he'll be stopping and then trying to straighten out his truck and trailer a little bit to make sure that he can fit into that parking slot. So right now he's going to pull ahead and just adjust the back of the trailer a little over to his right to make sure that he fits into the spot. Again, in busy yards, you could have drivers waiting. Some drivers might be honking their horn. It can ramp up your nerves. It can make you more tense or stressed and make you want to rush. Don't rush. Take your time, back in. If you have an accident by bumping into somebody, the person that made you rush is not going to help you out with that at all. They're just going to say, look at you and say, look at the mistake you made. So Charlie's just taking a look at the back of the trailer to make sure that it's set up properly so he can get into the spot that he needs to get into. He's good. He's going to be able to fit in there without any problem. And he'll go back into the truck and complete the parking. So he's back in the truck and he's ready to finish off the backup. So by looking at where his trailer was positioned for the parking spot, he's choosing to go forward a little bit to move the trailer again a little over to his right. I've said it a number of times in this video, the key here is to not rush. Take your time and make sure. On occasion, you might go into a parking spot where someone is offering you assistance, helping you back into the spot. Make sure that you trust that person and that they know exactly what it is you're trying to do. A lot of times when people are helping you back into a spot, they're not making sure that they're visible in your mirrors, and so they're helping you back in, and for a minute there they move around where you can't see them in your mirrors any longer, and then you have no assistance at all. So depend on yourself, plan the move yourself, and plan or visualize how you're going to do it, and then execute it. So Charlie just had to readjust his truck and trailer a little bit to get into the parking spot. You'll have to excuse my finger there for a moment. You can see where he's just adjusting the truck to back the trailer in. You can see that he's paying attention to both the driver's mirror and the passenger mirror. Again, not quite sure, so just pulling ahead and adjusting again just a little bit. Again, we're doing this intentionally to show that it doesn't always work the first time, and not to get stressed. Don't rush, just take your time, make sure you get it done right every time. So you see he's got it lined up for the slot that he wants to pull into. You're just going to pull ahead to straighten out, which you want to do as much as possible when you're doing an L, backing in on an L, that you straighten up in your final move, that you can straighten up and get yourself square to the dock. As you're backing in, then you just back into your slot and line up square to the dock. A lot of times, to make sure you're square to the dock, you can compare yourself to the trailer beside you, the trailer to your right and to your left, to make sure the gap is consistent from front to back, and that'll give you a pretty good sense of being lined up squarely to the dock. So we're just backing in. He's lining himself up to the trailer beside him, and again, now he's just finally just setting it up to be square to the dock, the imaginary dock in this case, and he'll complete his move. Okay, and we're done. Showing you how to back into a dock safely. So just a couple of pointers at the end here. One is when you pull into the area that you're backing into, make sure the space is sized for the trailer that you got to put in. Make sure the parking bay you're going into is free of any debris or anything sticking out of the trailer beside. Sometimes you're backing in to a spot where the container doors are open. Make sure those doors are tied back. Make sure your doors are tied back. Square yourself up to the area you're backing into, back in, take your time, and make sure you back in square to the dock. Make sure that you've got your mirrors clean and your windows clean so you can see properly, and make sure that don't get stressed or rush because there's somebody waiting for you or traffic trying to get around you. Take your time, do it right, do it safe. Thank you.